Hello, welcome to Federal Sector News. Today's episode deals with a recent decision announced by the United States Supreme Court on July 14th that it had greenlighted the Department of Education's efforts to lay off and close its operations. I'm Merrick Masters, Professor of Business Emeritus, commentator, and podcaster. You can find me on my YouTube channel. Today is July 16th, 2025. This is another major decision by the Supreme Court, which has given the president temporary authority to proceed with his efforts to reorganize the federal government, including closing agencies and subparts thereof. The article that featured this synopsis of the Supreme Court's ruling stated that a divided Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Education Department to fire almost 40% of its workforce 4 months after President Donald Trump ordered his administration to begin closing down the department. The order that they referred to in that is Executive Order 14242, issued on March 20th, 2025, entitled Improving Education Outcomes by Empowering Parents, States, and Communities, which said in part that closing the Department of Education would provide children and their families the opportunity to escape a system that is failing them. Here's a brief highlight of the Supreme Court's ruling, in which it removed the preliminary injunction, the temporary preliminary injunction, and said that the courts have to review the merits of the case as to whether the president has the executive authority to make these layoffs and agency closures. From the Justice Tracker, which is a tracker that records information on cases filed in federal courts against President Trump's efforts to reform government and otherwise use his executive powers. You see a case summary of this, which worked its way to the Supreme Court at this point. This is a little bit about myself. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more as I try to keep you informed through updates through Federal Sector News and Trump 47 Watch about Trump's efforts to reform the government through the Department of Government Efficiency and other efforts, and also developments in the federal sector which are related to this effort. Thank you and have a good day.